The VAR Show. The one place for your weekly football update.
Welcome to the VAR show, the show which talks about all the various major football leagues in detail. Today we are going to continue a theme of interviews and we have a very experienced scout with us, Mr. David Bujara with us today. He has experience from non-league to the championship in England and Scotland and also in Canada. So without wasting much time, I would like to first thank David for coming on the show. Thank you and welcome to our show. And I would like to ask you, how are you and what are you doing during this pandemic period?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks very much for having us on your show. Well, for the pandemic period, it's a bit weird at the minute. So with my scouting, I just do my scouting part-time. So I've got a regular job as well. And I've still been popping into my regular job a couple of mornings a week, making sure stuff's okay there. And helping my daughter at home with the schoolwork she's been getting. And just trying to get on as best as we can really in these trying times.
So we'll move on to your recent, I can call you you were recently part of the Brentford team as a recruitment scout. So what was your job profile like? Can you explain us what you would do on a regular basis?
Yeah, so really with Brentford, what my main role was to do the eyes-on test. So a lot of people will know Brentford, they're very data-driven in their model. And their style of recruitment, but we had a lot of scouts as well who you want to take the data and what the data is saying, or how you've interpreted the data and what it's saying, and see does it mirror up when you do actually watch the player. So I was one of the guys who would get lists of players to watch, get lists of teams to watch, either on video or go out live to matches and just report back and say, this is what I've seen. And then head office would say, right, this is what the report's saying, this is what the data's saying, does it all match up or is something a little bit off?
So as you said earlier that you're doing it part-time and you're doing another job also. How is the finances in scouting?
Well, if you're going to go into scouting, I don't know outside of the UK, but if you're going to go into scouting in the UK thinking you're going to make a lot of money, then it's not the kind of thing you want to be doing really. There's a lot of it is voluntary, a lot of it is on expenses only, so you might get 40p or 30p or 35p a mile to travel to games and you won't get a match fee. I mean, there's lucky people get match fees. We did well at Brentford. I thought they were very fair with what we were paid for what we had to do. But you hear about people who are putting 40, 50 hours into the scouting work and not getting paid the money to cover it, you know what I mean? Considering how important scouting is to a football club in recruitment and things like that. Because if you're not getting your scouting right, you're not going to get your recruitment right.
Yeah, definitely. That's scouting is a very important part. So talking about scouting, before, maybe what would you look into a player before recruiting them, for a club, or maybe giving them as a reference to the hierarchy in the club?
I suppose obviously everyone wants that really technical standard, but it's the thing of, will that player, things I like to look for, it's like game understanding, game knowledge. Maybe for example, say you've got, I don't know, a right centre back and they're moving forward with the ball and they're looking to hit a nice diagonal across to send the left winger away. Every time it's a little bit short or a little bit heavy, but they've got that vision to spot that, they've got that understanding. Now you can take that player to one side and get extra training with them, so train them to make that pass, whereas it's more difficult, although a player might be able to pass a ball well, it's more difficult to sort of improve the vision and understanding. So you really need those mental attributes to be, in my opinion anyway, the mental attributes to be really spot on. And if the technical, there's little things to work on, you can work on them to make them better. But making a mental attribute better, it's nigh on impossible, I would say. And then different clubs look for different things. The certain positions, obviously, you might have the best goalkeeper, hands, saves everything, blah blah blah. But if they're only 5'9", are you ever going to make it as a top level goalkeeper? Probably not. So it's all relative to what your club wants and what position they play on the pitch.
So you have worked for quite a lot of clubs. Is your scouting generally dependent on the manager or a system put in place by the club?
Up to now, it was generally what the manager wanted. But working with Brentford are very much, their staff are people who buy into the Brentford way of wanting to do things, which is good. Because at the end of the day, if the manager he went on to another club somewhere, they want to bring another manager in that's going to do similar things, play a similar type of football, play the Brentford way. So the players that we have at the club should be able to fit into what that new manager wants. Now, you could go into other clubs, and we've seen it down the years hundreds of times. One manager leaves and a new manager comes in, but the new manager's way of playing football or what he wants to do is completely different. So the players find it difficult to understand, or the players that he has at his disposal aren't the right players to play the kind of football he wants. So, yeah, a lot of it is your manager wants this type of player, he wants a winger, he wants whatever, and they have to be able to do this, that and the other. But probably it's better that if you have a club identity and a club philosophy, and you recruit towards the club philosophy rather than what the manager wants.
So you have worked in various job profiles. You have worked as an opposition scout also, which is very kind of similar to how a scout works. But which one do you personally prefer?
I probably prefer doing the opposition scouting. It's more work, and it's like it's slightly different how you have to view a match. So I might go and watch a match for a player, and you're focusing on that player and how he does his thing, whereas the opposition scouting, it's that overall picture of the team and looking at units, and then how do individual players fit within that unit, patterns of play, all that kind of thing. And it's a bit like putting a puzzle together. So when I started off scouting, when I very first started, I was low down in the English leagues. So if you've got the Premier League at the top, I was in a league called the Northern, which is about 15 steps below. And I started off doing opposition scouting. That's what I sort of took my interest straight away. So I've always had that sort of soft side for that, even though people think you're crazy because a player report will only take you a fraction of the time usually than an opposition report. But I really enjoy it. I like doing the opposition stuff.
So you have been a victim of the pandemic in terms of your job. Can you elaborate a little bit more, like if you are comfortable with it, like how do you feel, and do you think the system is set up right to maybe protect the likes of scouts or maybe someone of that job profile in the English system?
Yeah, I mean, again, football, if you go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to be in a job for a long time, there's another thing that you sort of can never be certain on either. So yeah, it would have been lovely to stay at Brentford. I was enjoying it. It was a different way of working, a lot more. It got me thinking a lot more about why they were recruiting, who they were recruiting, because we didn't, as scouts, we didn't get sort of that data stuff. We just got the player names. But I like to look into the players myself, trying to use data that is available to try and figure out, so why is it we're looking at players A, B and C. But financially, a lot of clubs are struggling at the moment. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and we did have quite a big group of scouts. So I was only on a 1-year contract, like I say, it would have been great if Brentford would have been able to offer us an extended contract and carry on working them, because good club to work for, really flexible with my regular job and what I was available to do. Nice group of guys, nice group of scouts. But it's just the way it is, and there's a lot more people. I mean, I'm lucky that I do it on the side of my regular job. It's something that I would love to move forward with and have as my full-time role. But at the moment, I've got my regular job, and that's where my income is. And this is just something that I'm trying to do and trying to build and trying to progress through. Now, there'll be guys out there and girls out there who scouting's their job, scouting's their livelihood, and they might have been told that I'm really sorry, we cannot afford to keep you on. So yeah, it's bad, and I was disappointed, but it's not the end of the world for me. Whereas I think, and I'm lucky, like I say, because I think there will be people sat at home at this moment going, where am I going to find another job in football at the moment, and where am I going to find another job in general? So yeah, I can't complain too much really about it.
So, like you said about scouting. So if you had to take out one possible part of scouting that you enjoy the most, what would that be?
I love being at live matches, and I like just football in general. So being able to be out at a live game, and that can be really low down. That can be in like big Premier League Championship stadiums, and the full and the atmosphere is great. But I just love being out. You get that bit of time to go drive down wherever you're going, and you've got the radio on and whatever sports you're listening to sports or listen to a match on the radio, and get there, and it's just good. I enjoy it, getting out and about, seeing different people, getting to speak to a lot of different people, going to grounds that you wouldn't normally go to. So yeah, I really enjoy that, just being out at a live match. Now, a lot of the Brentford stuff, because of what they do in looking at players from all over the world, there was a lot of it was on video. So I'll be sat in this room where I am now, which is my spare bedroom in the house, and I'm just on the computer and I'm watching the match like you would just watch on TV. But half the time there's no commentary or anything, it is just a video. So when I had the opportunity to go out, David, can you go and watch this player? Might be an under-23s game, or it could be a non-league game or whatever. It was like, yeah, I'll snap your hands off. I definitely want to be out and about watching some football.
So, like I read a book, I think a year back or something, titled The No Way Men by Michael Calvin, and he describes in the book how unglamorous and poorly paid scouting job is. He even mentions, like how you mentioned, like the scouts get paid maybe for the distance of miles they travel, and you also kind of said it is somewhat similar. So why do you be a scout then? Like what part of the job makes you be a scout?
Well, that book as well, that was one of the very first things when, obviously I enjoyed football for a long time. It's weird, I was never one of these little kids that loved football, but when I sort of hit secondary school age, I sort of got bit by the bug, and it was just from then football all the time. And yeah, a few years ago, before I started doing any scouting, I read that book as well, and that was one of the sort of inspirational things for me to try and give it a go. I think you've got to you do it because you enjoy football, and you can get there, you can go further up, and you can make it a career. It's really difficult. And for every person that does get up there and is a full-time scout for a City or a United or whoever in Europe, Paris Saint-Germain or whatever, where they'll be getting paid good money to do their roles, there's hundreds of lads that are out volunteering or getting paid per mile or whatever. But it's just because you love it. You love football, like I say, like being out at live games. If you're good at making connections and you're good at sort of talking to people and that kind of thing, you never know who you're going to talk to the right person, and your name gets passed along. So yeah, it's great. It can be really rewarding, but really difficult, a really hard thing to get into. And even if you do really well, something like this that's happening at the moment can completely derail things. So I know a lad, not that it's derailed it, but he'd 3 months ago got his very first full-time role as a head of recruitment. And I've been talking to him, and he had plans in place and he wanted to do loads of stuff and it sounded fantastic. Then this has happened and it's like, what are you going to do? We don't know when things are going to start again. But yeah, it's the kind of thing that you've got to do more, I think, for the love of what you do. And because then you can think, well, I'm getting up on a morning and I'm doing something as a career that I really enjoy, or I'm doing something as a part-time job that I really enjoy, or I'm a volunteer and I'm part of a club, I'm part of doing something different. Sorry, just my daughter walked in the door there. So yeah, that you're making a difference to a club, and yeah, sorry, I've lost my train of thought a little bit there. But yeah, that you're making a difference to a club and you can help a club, or you can help players progress. So you might have seen a guy in non-league who's playing for £100 a match, but you know that he can go and play somewhere else, and you do everything right and you get him through and he signs a contract and he might be on £500 a week, and then he can be a professional footballer rather than work wherever it is and just play football on a weekend or during the week. So yeah, there's a lot of really good things to go with the difficult parts, but as with anything, nothing comes easy in life that's worth it, does it? So you just got to work hard and make sure that you progress, do the right things, and it can be really, really rewarding.
So, in your time as a scout, if you had to pick one moment which was your best, or something that you feel very satisfied, which one would that be? Maybe you scouted a player or something.
Well, not so much a player, but so I was working or volunteering for the Scottish club St Mirren, got promoted into the Scottish Premier League, which was great. Things didn't work out with the new manager that came in, and everyone got cleared out. So I was sort of sat thinking, oh, what am I going to do next? And I got a phone call from a representative of Crawley Town saying, look, we've been past your name, we're looking for an opposition scout. We'd like you to come and do the opposition scouting for Crawley. League Two club as well, so like professional club. And I think that for me, in a personal sense of pride, was fantastic. It was great to know that someone, I don't know who it was, but someone out there that I'd done some work for liked my work, thought it was a good standard, and felt confident enough to say to a professional club, if you're looking for an opposition scout, get on the phone to this lad and ask him to do it, because his work's at the level and he's going to be able to do it. So yeah, when that happened, I thought, like, that's great. Just knowing that someone trusts your judgment and trusts your writing ability and everything else, to say to another club, yeah, give this guy a go because he's going to be able to do it for you. So I would say that's probably my proudest moment.
So what plans do you have for future? Do you intend to get into management anytime soon?
No, I would be no good as a coach. I was never anything as a player. It was a kick around in the park with my friends and playing at school and things like that. So scouting and recruitment, I'm free at the moment, and just got to wait until things settle down and then hopefully get into another role, go and help another club. But there's teams further down and guys I know further down that I could go and help out and things like that. But I'm just hoping to get into somewhere that want us to be there, that I want to be there, and I can just help somebody out, be involved with what's going on, and hopefully use my contacts, my knowledge, what I've done to help a club progress as well. So fingers crossed that'll be sooner rather than later, but we just don't know at the moment.
So David, thank you so much for talking to us, and we wish you get your next job as soon as possible and you unearth maybe gems after gems for your club and the country. Thank you so much for talking to us, and hope we can talk again soon. Best of luck for your future.
Thank you very much. Stay safe. Hope everyone's okay that's watching. Thanks very much.
Thank you.